Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another car vlog. Today we are up at the Gilmore Museum near Kalamazoo, Michigan for Cadillac's annual Fall Festival. There's a really nice show field here for a concourse show as well as some cars that Cadillac brought from the Heritage Museum. So there's a lot of unique stuff here. Let's take a walk around and see what we can find. Now we'll start off by taking a look at the Cadillac section to see what they brought, and of course they brought the Escalade V as well as the Cts V Blackwing, but let's take a look first at the race cars that they brought out. Here is a Cts V race car. I'm not really sure about all the details of this car, what sort of races it was in. Obviously very bare bones, not quite like a normal CTS, but this is probably one of Cadillac's first racing cars soon after they introduced the V Series CTS. This car I have heard about. This is a North Star, I think an LMP race vehicle, and this is kind of Cadillac's return to Le Mans and racing. It wasn't necessarily the most successful race car out there, but it still started a series of successful racing at Cadillac later on, so still very historic. I believe even one of these actually came up for sale recently, which is pretty interesting. Definitely cool to see this in person. It's neat that this is kind of what brought Cadillac back into racing. This is actually especially cool. This is a Cadillac Stsi, they called it, and this was used as the pace car, I think back in 2000, could be maybe 1999, not totally sure. It's a specially fitted STS. It has about 50 more horsepower than the regular car. The seats may even be a little bit more bolstered there than normal. But what I think is neat is that this is kind of showing the beginnings of Cadillac becoming more of a performance-oriented brand. This is before their V Series came out. And they also did make a DTS, or DeVille DTSi, which went up for sale on Cars and Bids lately, so it's kind of cool to see the STS version. And here are some more cars from more of the beginnings of Cadillac's racing. I unfortunately don't know too much of the history of these vehicles, but they're still well worth seeing. We'll take a quick look at the interior here. Now this looks like more of a normal seat that you would get in a Cadillac from this time. A roll bar in there potentially, but still pretty neat to see. It's generally stock. This car, I believe, did race in the 24 Hours of Le Mans for Cadillac. This may have been their first racing car ever, but what's really neat is that, as you can see on the exterior here, there are a bunch of these little screws on the outside of the car, and what they could do is if there was a problem, something needed fixed, they could just unscrew it and take it right off and then screw it all right back in. So it was supposed to be kind of a quick way of fixing the car when you had issues, which is really neat. And this is very bare bones as well. Definitely very much unlike the comfortable Cadillacs of the time when this was even new. I don't even know what a lot of that stuff means, all those gauges. There's a really interesting looking one there. And then they had this last one over here. And this looks much more stock, which is really interesting. Another RPM gauge there, a few other things. So definitely still looks like a race car, which is really cool. I might as well look at the Cts V Blackwing. I do really like the looks of these seats. I think this has the semi-aniline leather interior. Pretty nice looking. Definitely looks like a sports car. And it is a manual, which is very cool. I am excited though to see the Escalade V and to take a closer look at that. It's actually kind of something that Cadillac's been thinking about doing for some time. They actually, I believe, did make an Escalade V prototype back in the early 2010s or late 2000s, but they finally did it. And there it is. Looks very much like a normal Escalade on the inside. Does have some really nice leather seats there. Very cool, but they do have a little V badge there, which is neat. Kind of show off that this is a little bit of a special vehicle. This is cool. It has a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 engine, making a lot of horsepower, almost 700. So it's going to be a quick, big car. They have a really cool presidential limousine giving people rides, but what's really neat about that limousine is that it was actually a prototype for President Reagan's motorcade. It also made an appearance in the movie In the Line of Fire by Clint Eastwood. So it's pretty cool to see such a unique vehicle that people can get rides in. All right, now that we took a look at what Cadillac brought out, let's go ahead and take a look at the Concourse Show. Let's go ahead and see what's over here. This looks really nice. I love the vinyl top on this model. White and black interior. Yeah, this is a very sharp looking car. Now this is probably one of the oldest Cadillacs here. That is so cool. Have a few Eldorados on display here. Really nice looking yellow. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Barrettes, but this is almost more of a pale color than that car. And in this row is all the V series cars. Someone did take out a Ct V. I've seen a couple of these. I did actually get to start one up at the Perrysburg car show. Someday these cars probably will be just very collectible, just with how rare they are. And there is a Cts V Wagon here. And looks like this one is the automatic version. We brought our XLRV here. It's like we were accepted into the Concourse Show, which was nice. And we did get a ribbon. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. We got first place. Wow. That is astounding. And I actually spoke to one of the judges who was judging the Concourse Show, and he actually worked as a designer at Cadillac at the time, and he helped design the XLR. And he actually told me that he designed the headlights, and he took inspiration from his wife's wedding ring. This section right here where it says XLR up top, and how it kind of juts out of the car, he said he designed that from his wife's wedding ring because it looked very similar to that. So really cool tidbit of information. It's amazing the kind of stuff you learn from the people that come to these shows. But what is really special is this 2009 XLRV. This is a black cherry XLR, and that's a very rare color. They only said 1 of 9 on this paper here. Very neat looking car. I do like the 2009s just for the refresh that it had. And these people drove all the way from Delaware, so they had a bit of a drive to get up here to Michigan, but nice that they were here. And there is another Cts V Wagon, but this one is extra special because it is a manual, which is, of course, going up in value like crazy these days. It's probably one of the most collectible Cadillacs out there, the more modern ones, I should say. I do love the looks of the wagon. Such a cool car. And there are a few ATS Vs here, as you can see, but this one here is especially special because it is the championship edition. Cadillac was very successful with their DPI race car in 2017, and so the next year they made ATS and CTS V championship editions. This one's one of those, so really cool. Special touches on the car, the exterior decals. They had some exterior decals on the spoiler of the car, which is really cool. And they had a red interior, so they had some really special stuff that they did to this car. There are also a row of Volantes here, and there are some more Eldorados here as well. Oh, I love the piping on the interior. Oh, it's a Bicentennial Edition. That would make sense. These Bicentennials are so cool. We've actually seen a couple on the channel before, 1 or 2. Very special cars. Of course, only made 200 of them in 1976 with the red, white, and blue colors on the exterior. But I love that piping on the interior. Beautiful. Absolutely a stunning vehicle. It's a really nice looking green Eldorado. But this one here is Commodore Blue, which is the same color as our Series 75. So it's kind of cool to see an Eldorado of the same color. And this one's in really nice shape. And I believe it has a lot of the options available for the Eldorado at the time. We have another row of Cadillacs to look at. These ones have the biggest fins here by far, that's for sure. These cars are all from 59 to 64. Here's a 59. And this car, this red really stands out. Very sharp. And those are some shiny wheels and tires too. Wow. There's a black one, very stately. And one more on the end here. What's really neat is that the Gilmore Museum has a ton of different outdoor buildings. They of course have a lot of displays on the inside in the main building, but they have a lot of different sporadic barns and buildings set up with different vehicles in them, different displays. They even have a Cadillac dealership, or what looks like an original Cadillac dealership, with cars inside of it, which is really neat. They have a Lincoln area. They just have a lot of dedicated areas for different car brands, which is so cool to see. Definitely worth checking out if you're ever near Kalamazoo, Michigan. And over here they have more cars on display. Another section for the Concourse Show. The cars were judged. Check out this Fleetwood. Well, it has a wooden interior too. I believe that is actual wood, which is so cool. And let's see, they may have the writing tables as well. Maybe? I don't think so, not this one. Look at that. Red and white just looks great on a Cadillac, I gotta say. This is nice. Thank you. Oh, and you won first. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Look at that. This flower car here is extremely special. If you guys remember, I took you all to the Professional Car Society's big event, and they had a few flower cars on display, but not one like this. It looks like it's a Eureka funeral flower car. Very rare as far as flower cars go. I think out of all funeral vehicles, flower cars are some of my favorite. You just don't see them. Now here is one of my favorite, all-time favorite Cadillacs, the Eldorado Bromes. I don't recall having seen a red one before, so this is really, really neat. Wow. Gorgeous. So, and it has all this stuff in back, the makeup stuff that you would have when the car was new. And it has the magnetic shot glasses. Absolutely beautiful. It still looks just perfect. I love this car, and I think it's so cool that Cadillac is starting to build hand-built cars again very soon with the Celestics. So kind of harkening back to this era of Cadillac. Such an awesome car. And this is an interesting color for a Brome. I thought at first this was black, but it's actually dark gray, it looks like. These are just such special cars, some of the most iconic Cadillacs ever, so it's so cool to see them. And what's neat is that this has an air ride suspension that's basically adjustable, as well as memory seats for back in the late 50s, which is extremely impressive. I do love the stainless steel hardtop roof. That was actually apparently made from 3 separate pieces of metal. So they're able to somehow make it flush and go together to look like one piece. I believe that the trunk also went up and down from the push of a button. You could actually bring it back down if you wanted. Much older Cadillacs over here to see. Looks like this one's from the 30s. It's amazing how much smaller the interiors were back then, just so thin. This looks really cool with a 2-tone paint style and a rear windshield. That is neat.
Yeah. Okay. It can't hurt it.
Here is a first place winner. I honestly don't know what the model would be of this. Wow. Oh, look at that wood on the interior. That looks very special. I don't know if you guys can make that out or not, but that is very unique looking. I've never seen that before. Maybe a radio? Oh no, there's a couple of pipes back there so you could smoke in the back of your Fleetwood. Now, I just learned a little bit more about this 1941 Cadillac from that gentleman over there. He said it was called the Duchess, which was built by General Motors, custom bodied for King Edward after he abdicated the throne. The chrome is different from that car, which is also 41, to this one. This one, the chrome around the headlights is black. There's actually chrome around the headlights there. This car doesn't have anything on the wheel skirts, just a bit more stately, maybe just didn't stand out quite as much. But the interior is what's really special on this car. So someone really did a lot of work to make this car look like it did back when it was new in 41. Very historic. So I hope you guys enjoyed just kind of taking a quick look at the Cadillac Fall Festival at the Gilmore Museum. It'd be kind of nice to actually come back up here someday and I can actually show you guys the inside of the museum and a lot of the buildings here, because they have really nice displays, really nice cars. But I really did enjoy this show. It's something I go to almost every year. Very unique stuff from General Motors, as well as everyone else who brought their cars out. So I'd like to thank all of them for doing that. It definitely makes this a very enjoyable and fun show, especially if you're a Cadillac fan like me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and to come back again soon for more videos. Thank you.